important even just a couple of days working with Jaron Boots Ennis is going to be for Canelo, just to see a bit of the tempo, a bit of that switching of stance, because let's be honest, there's not many guys that Canelo has fought that have fought out of both stances and done it as fluidly as Boots Ennis or as Bud Crawford will do in their fight.
Bien, bien hecho, bonita pinta otra vez ahí, no te la cambias.
Crawford fight, not Crawford. I don't think Boots fight like Crawford at all. That was just I think the comparison they was making initially was just as they both were switch hitters and they both could be so naturally. That's really the only thing that they do the same.
The boxing community is shocked after reports revealed that Canelo Alvarez has been training with Jaron Boots Ennis in preparation for his upcoming fight against Terence Crawford.
Bien, bien, bien. Bien, bien hecho, bonita pinta otra vez ahí, no te la cambias. Ahí, suavecito y remate, otra vez. Remate rápido. Suavecito y remate. Un pasito atrás y ahorita.
Many see this as a powerful statement of intent from Canelo's camp. Former world champion Andre Dirrell highlighted that this move proves Canelo plans to be at his absolute best for September, leaving no room for complacency. Ennis is known for his speed, explosiveness, and versatility, making him one of the closest possible replicas of Crawford. Bringing Boots into camp shows not only respect for Crawford's skill, but also how serious Canelo is about this challenge.
With Canelo, I do believe this is get back on Crawford for not taking the fight with Boots back in 2024 when Boots called him out. But Crawford was on the bigger and better things, baby. That bigger and better things being Canelo Alvarez, September 13, 2025. Bigger legacy, bigger name, bigger payday, bigger status. So, too little too late, Boots. But I am looking forward to how you advance in your career after this, because this camp is definitely going to level you up, man. You're going to get better because of it in every aspect. Toughness, skill set, smarts. You're going to get a lot from this camp, champ. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do because of it. You're already a bad man, dog. I want to see where you take it from here. But Crawford, it's over. I believe he walking away in the sunset, especially if he walking away with the victory, which I'm hoping for. But you, champ, you're going to have to settle for something else. Get Canelo at work, man. He going to need it. He going to need it. According to Roy Jones, Canelo got to be on this A game. You got to be on yours too, man. We looking forward to seeing what you do after this. It's raining on me right now, so I'm going to cut this short, baby. But Boots, get somebody else, champ. Get somebody else. I'm out.
Boxing Orbit grabbed attention by posting a photo of Canelo Alvarez sparring with Jaron Ennis. Their tweet read, "Canelo Alvarez sparring with Jaron Ennis ahead of his fight with Terence Crawford on September 13th, which quickly sparked major reactions from fans and analysts around the world. Greg Hackett called the decision to bring Ennis into Canelo's camp one of the biggest talking points before the Crawford fight. He explained that the strong reaction is natural, since nobody expected such a partnership. While it may seem unusual at first, Hackett stressed that this move is far from random. Canelo is getting ready for an opponent like Terence Crawford, who is known for ambition, adaptability, and constant pressure. Sparring with Boots is a deliberate choice to mirror that energy and intensity. Hackett noted that Ennis is not just another training partner, but one of boxing's most promising young stars, respected for his speed, explosiveness, and hunger. By having that challenge in camp, Canelo is making sure he is tested every day in meaningful ways. Hackett added that what some see as a gimmick is in reality part of a carefully planned strategy. For him, Canelo's camp is showing clear respect for Crawford by preparing in a way that eliminates surprises on fight night.
Things I know about camp and how they want things to go. So is it going to be that way? Is y'all going to try to alter the camp, or is y'all going to let them go? Or I mean, is y'all looking to still?
Give me the psychology behind both sides. What does Jaron Ennis get from this? What does Canelo Alvarez get from this?
I mean, Jaron Ennis get from it being in with the elite, a guy who's prepared for everything. One thing you can't say about Canelo is that he hasn't seen something. Canelo's seen southpaws, he's seen tall guys, short guys, slick fighters, he's seen bulls, he's been up against everything. So you get a world of experience with a guy like Canelo. You get a guy who's in full confidence with a guy like Canelo. So with that type of boxing, I would see Canelo really not worried about so much of what Boots trying to do to him, but really just paying attention to him. But then it's the same, like, I don't know, I can see Boots kind of like, I think the mindset for Boots would be not only to prove I can hang, but to also be trying to see what will come with this shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I don't think I would do that. I don't know. It's just me. I just think, the only reason I say that because I think Boots can get that fight. I think Boots can end up in a fight with Canelo. And I'm saying that because, you know, the reason I say I wouldn't do it is because I wouldn't spar you and then here go a year later they fighting. Nah,
I mean, that's for as much as it does for Canelo, it does for Boots though, right? If that were to be the case.
Yeah, but there's so many ways it can go. And what I'm saying is, if I was to be where Boots is right now, if one thing we can all agree on, everybody hates Boots right now. They mad at Boots, right?
Jose Benavidez Sr. brushed off the buzz around Canelo's sparring partners, saying his team will not be distracted by online talk. For him, the only thing that counts is what happens when the bell rings on fight night. He pointed out that fans often place too much weight on sparring choices, forgetting they are just tools to prepare. Whether Canelo trained with Boots or anyone else, it does not change the reality that Crawford is a completely different challenge. Benavidez Sr. stressed that real outcomes are decided in the ring, not in practice sessions. His words remind everyone that while headlines may create excitement, experienced camps stay focused on their own game plan.
We're not even like thinking about it anymore, and you were just like, you know, Canelo is slipping and stuff like that. Does it make you kind of rethink Canelo and that Crawford fight to be like, well, he's really taking it serious to bring in a guy like Jaron Ennis?
Well, like I said, you know, I don't really focus on that. You know, we stay in our lane, you know, and try to get better ourselves. And whatever they do, whatever they decide to bring in or whatever, you know, I'm pretty sure they have a plan. But I don't really focus on what other people do. We focus on what we do in order to get better ourselves. Because we do have a lot of things that we need to fix and get better at. So my respects to whatever they do or whatever they're doing, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, I think it's a good thing, but we don't really focus on that, you know, what other people do. You know, like I said, we gotta get better at our craft.
Brian Norman shared a critical view, saying that although Boots is an outstanding fighter, his style does not truly reflect Terence Crawford's. He explained that the only real similarities are their physical frame and the type of power punches they throw. Beyond that, Norman stressed their boxing approach is completely different. Crawford is a master at switching stances, setting traps, and adjusting strategies on the spot, while Boots relies more on explosiveness and constant aggression. Norman warned that sparring with Ennis will push Canelo, but it will not give him the exact experience of facing Crawford in the ring. His remarks provide balance to the praise, showing that while the move is helpful, it still has its limits.
I'm not Crawford. I don't think Boots fight like Crawford at all. That was just I think the comparison that they was making initially was just as they both were switch hitters and they both could be so naturally. That's really the only thing that they do the same. They don't do anything else the same, literally. So I never understood the comparison in that myself. But I think it's still a good look because all work is good work and you want the best work. You feel what I'm saying? So if Jaron Ennis is supposed to be the best work, even though he was a 47-pounder and not going up to 54, which is the same thing that Crawford was. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I do think that Boots getting a lot of unnecessary backlash about doing it, though. I don't agree with the backlash he's getting about, you know what I'm saying, going to spar, getting that paycheck, getting that experience. Because I think he needed it anyway. I always talk trash about him, always staying in Philly, hiding in Philly. You don't want to go outside the spar. You don't want to go outside to do nothing else. So in this case right here, I think it's well needed for his career. It's needed for the building of a fighter. You know what I'm saying? You got to go out. You got to go in certain different types of territories and, you know, places and get that kind of work. So I mean, I think Boots getting a lot of unnecessary criticism, and if I'm defending him, you know it's real. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's getting a lot of unnecessary criticism, talking about sellout and all of that. That's some bullshit. Like,
Ade Oladipo offered a reality check on where Canelo stands compared to his peak years. He pointed to the 2018 rematch with Golovkin as the last time Canelo looked at his absolute best, noting that was 7 years ago. Since then, Canelo has remained among the elite, but has not appeared as sharp or untouchable. This raises the question of whether even smart moves like bringing Boots into camp can close the gap between his current form and Crawford's peak momentum. Oladipo's take puts added pressure on Canelo's team, suggesting they are pushing harder in training because they know today's version of Canelo needs extra reinforcement.
I don't think that Crawford is fighting the best Canelo anymore. Again, the Canelo I'm talking about, I mean, second Golovkin fight, I thought was fucking incredible. That was... when was that? Jeez, that feels like a long time ago. Second Golovkin fight was 2018. So I'm saying peak Canelo, although still very, very good people, peak Canelo for me was 6 years ago. It's a long time, or 5.5 years. That's a long time. In fact, exactly 15th of September. So it'll be to the day 5 years. Have I got them? What was I talking about? Sorry, almost 7 years ago. Jeez, that's a long time ago. Where some might say peak Crawford was Errol. So, shit, I didn't realize how long ago that was. And he's clearly not that same guy anymore. It clearly isn't. He's no longer fighting elite fighters. I mean, unless you're going to say William Skull was elite, Edgar Berlanga, no, Munguia, no, Jamel, no, John Ryder, no, third Golovkin fight, no. So he's no longer fighting the best, but he still is very good, and he's still a top 168 pounder. And I think this is why people are saying it is a 50-50 fight now, because we can see the deterioration in Canelo. Like, say what you want about William Skull, Canelo looked poor in that fight as well. Everyone's like, oh, William Skull ran. Well, Canelo didn't cut off the exits. Canelo wasn't great himself. Canelo's punch output was horrendous. So we can clearly see the deterioration. That said, he is the naturally bigger guy. I just mentioned the fact that Crawford's put on size, but the naturally bigger guy in this weight class is Canelo. That has to count for something. We know Canelo's been able to absorb punches from the naturally bigger guys. I mean, barely anyone's put a dent in this guy, right? That's how good his chin is. Maybe the best chin in boxing. It's frightening. But the legs have slowed down. The output has slowed down as well. And I always think about, with Canelo, desire and want and will. I always sort of say, where is that desire?
Analysts following the situation agree that sparring with Jaron Ennis gives Canelo valuable preparation. They note that Ennis brings speed, sharp angles, and constant pressure that few fighters can imitate in training. By dealing with those qualities every day in camp, Canelo is better equipped to handle Crawford's unpredictability. While some experts warn that Ennis and Crawford have different tactical styles, the challenge of working with a fighter of Boots' level still sharpens reflexes, timing, and mental strength. Analysts emphasize that this type of preparation is what sets elite fighters apart, choosing the toughest tests before the real fight begins.
Means that he did get work. That's what that means to me. That's what you need. I don't want Canelo in camp beating up nobody. I want people beating up on him. I want people putting in that work, giving him looks he ain't seen. So that's what's going to make him ready for Crawford. I don't want to see smiling Canelo. I don't want to see Canelo happy. That means he did good the first time they sparred. No, I want him frustrated and angry. That's how it's supposed to be. Bring somebody in camp, they give you that work. Even Mayweather talked about how Earl Spence gave him that work when he was trying to get him ready for a fight. Because by the end of the camp, Canelo will be the one smiling. I love it. I'm going to tell y'all why I love it. I'm going to tell y'all why I love this shit. I was wondering, I wonder who Canelo has in camp with him to prepare for Bud, because I know Shakur Stevenson's not going to help him.
Johnny Ortiz praised the sparring move, calling it a perfect decision for both sides. He argued that Boots is the closest match to Terence Crawford that Canelo could find, making him the ideal partner for camp. According to Ortiz, the setup helps not only Canelo, but also Ennis, who gains priceless experience working with a veteran champion like Alvarez. He highlighted that such collaborations are rare and valuable because they give both fighters lessons they can use in future fights. Ortiz's take reflects the excitement around the decision, presenting it as mutually beneficial and strategically smart.
It's definitely a good experience for both. Eddie Reynoso and Canelo, shout out to them, because now it shows that they serious with a real game plan, and Boots is, to me, everybody's a perfect opponent. Like, I wouldn't say opponent, perfect sparring partner to have to replicate Crawford, because they both switch hitters and stuff like that, and you know, they got dog in them and reflexes for sure. So it shows Canelo serious, and on Boots' end, to be able to spar a Hall of Famer, top tier guy, it gave him great experience, and you can tell he really wants it.
Been seeing mixed reviews. You got a portion of the fans that are just shocked that this happened. You got a portion of the fans that's like, yay, Canelo now has the edge. Those will be Canelo fans, and you got Terence Crawford fans that I'm seeing calling him a traitor. You know, you already know the other word.
Yeah, it's a difference between fans. There's Terence Crawford fans, which is cool. Then there's the Terence Crawford, I call them bud clowns, where all of a sudden they want to act like Dr. Umar and shit. They want to be fake woke. Like, woke for what? Like, it's a sport where Boots is getting an opportunity to spar a Hall of Famer. Who cares? And in reality, what the fuck loyalty does Boots owe to Crawford when it comes to the sport of boxing? I mean, Crawford didn't do shit even back while Boots was trying to get his opportunity when it was Spence and Crawford. Every time Boots' name got mentioned, you heard the bud clowns be like, oh yeah, he don't deserve it. Oh, who did he fight? Oh, who this and that, man. I ain't trying to hear that shit. It's like it's different shit that you need to be woke up outside of boxing. Boxing is a sport. There's shit that we need to really come together. I didn't see y'all come together like 5 years. The bud clowns, because it's real fans, the bud clowns is bashing PBC.
Supporters of Canelo's camp argue that Boots and Crawford share key physical and technical traits, making Ennis the best sparring option available. Both are athletic, switch stances smoothly, and possess genuine knockout power, which keeps Canelo adjusting at all times. Bringing Ennis into camp shows that Alvarez is covering every detail and that his team is fully committed to this fight. Observers note that training with Boots sends a clear message: Canelo is not taking Crawford lightly. Instead, he is preparing for every possibility, showing both respect for Crawford's skills and his own determination to meet the challenge.
He's been there for a bit, but this is a big deal because not only did he come in and train with Canelo, it looks like some sparring went down, as you can see here, posted by the Ring magazine. Canelo and Boots Ennis standing there together. By the way, Boots Ennis looks bigger than Canelo in this picture. And we all know that Canelo's not a massive 168-pounder, but Boots Ennis at 147 was having trouble making the weight still, is going to 154, just so happens to be the two weight classes that Terence Bud Crawford just came from, 147 to 154. Boots has a fight coming up soon for his debut at 154. You have to think sooner or later he's going to be grabbing a belt because he's in a title eliminator coming up anyway. But again, it's very interesting because we all know how good Boots Ennis is, and it's interesting for a couple of reasons. Number one, you look at this picture, and Boots Ennis is a monster. I can see him going to 160 pounds and still doing very well. I think he's going to do great at 154. But the question you have to ask yourself is why? Why would Canelo bring in Jaron Boots Ennis? And it's not just because Ennis is a great boxer. It's not just because Ennis fought at the highest level of 147 and is going to be at the highest level of 154, so he's a smaller guy that Canelo can use in camp to see how a smaller guy of this era moves, as Canelo has maybe not had as much experience with that since moving to 168. Usually he's the smaller guy fighting some of the bigger guys. But that's not all this is.
Not all experts are convinced that sparring with Boots will benefit Canelo. Critics argue that although Ennis is a great fighter, his role in a Mexican camp preparing for an African-American opponent has already sparked debate. They point out that styles, backgrounds, and mental factors all play a role in boxing, and sparring alone cannot copy Crawford's unique mindset and fight IQ. Some even warn the plan could backfire if Canelo relies too much on the idea that Boots is an accurate version of Crawford. The criticism underscores how complex preparation is, showing that while sparring helps, it does not guarantee success against someone as adaptable and intelligent as Crawford.
Wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout, will not learn and not be able to pick up from Jaron Boots Ennis sparring Canelo Alvarez. There's an uproar because Jaron Boots Ennis, African-American fighter, black boxer, has joined the Mexicans camp to help prepare the Mexican fighter Canelo Alvarez defeat another African-American fighter, which he needs Jaron Ennis to give him looks of the undefeated pound-for-pound king, 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed world champion, superstar boxer who will be a first ballot Hall of Famer once he retires as well, in Terence "Bud" Crawford, who has 41 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned and catch you next time.